digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
On. Hiya, guys, and welcome to THFC Team with Die Home and Tottenham past, present, and the exciting future, hopefully, on the Thomas Frank, as we have Fulham today at home, 8 o'clock kickoff, and this is something we're starting to do now on match days with kickoffs at the night time. Instead of doing the predicted lineup as a pre-record, we're doing it live for you guys to see what you think and get interaction with you guys, and also get what you think of the predicted lineup. I hope we're all doing well this afternoon. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. Are you going to the game? Let me know. Where you're watching the game, so let us know what you're up to and what is your pre-match ritual. What do you do? What's the one thing you do before the game? So let me know what you think. Get in, get up, get in, get up and get subbing, get subscribing if you're new. Hit that sub button and hit that like bell, notification bell as well, and hit the like button. If you more you hit the like button, the more we can get out there, the more this channel can grow, the more we can reach our 3K goal before the end of the 25-26 season. And yes, and I would love to be at 2,500 before Christmas Eve, hopefully. Just double checking everything. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, grand. Let me just do something very, very quickly. How are we all doing today? I hope you're doing all right. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. It's going to be an interesting game. For me, it's a must-win, absolute must-win for I'm hot. Hello? What? Oh, okay. I don't know if you can see me or not. I do not know what happened there. I am so apologetic. No, paste that and do that. Yeah, there we go. Right, that's sent to you. I've got a co-host coming on to help me with this. Very good. Look, I hope it is a game tonight. It's a game where we have to win tonight. We rarely do. We have to show the momentum we showed on Wednesday against PSG. And I know we lost the game against PSG, but there were so many positives come out of that game. There were so many good things. We had this two up front, and that's the what I went with my predicted lineup. I've gone with that sort of attacking sort of nature. We've got to go out on the attack at home. We've got to go out all guns blazing. and really put Fulham to the metal. Fulham haven't won an away game all season, and that worries me. That worries me greatly because Dr. Tottenham will come back up and say, knock on the door. Excuse me, Tottenham Hotspur. Dr. Tottenham's here to look after you. We don't want Dr. Tottenham. Dr. Tottenham can fuck off somewhere where the sun don't shine. We don't want him. And 3 points tonight, and we know how compact the Premier League is. 3 points can move you up a couple of places up the league. A defeat can move you down the league. So Thomas Frank has to get it right tonight, has to get it spot on, has to get it absolutely his tactics, but he's got to be more adventurous, and that is the thing. Big up to Rayman joining me there, looking, sitting in his little cauldron of an Egyptian pyramid. I mean, if somebody was going to your little house, you look like you're in an Egyptian pyramid, one of them, Rayman, like Tutankhamun or something like that. But how are you, bud? Tonight, am I right to say tonight Frank has to be more adventurous? Because I think he has to be.
I think he said he's going to be, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he thinks that he is generally adventurous, which is concerning.
Yeah.
To be honest, it is concerning. I think he sends them out there to be adventurous.
Yeah.
Or he thinks he sends them out there to be adventurous. There's lots of I think he thinks because but I thought the press conference, the pre sort of Fulham press conference, was quite good. I do think that quite often we can slate the journalists always looking for a headline, etc. But I thought the way that they were pressing Frank on style, on did you see the fact? I know that Queen Ellie. I don't know if she's in chat, but I know that Queen Ellie she went to Paris, and wow, people went there. They had a good time, even though we lost. And a big part of that is because even the most ardent Frank in person, even the fans who are going to give him 10 years to get things right, have to accept that the style of performance against Paris, even though we lost, was markedly different from the style of that we had against Arsenal and Chelsea. So and he was pressed on that. Maybe it's not Frank. Maybe it's the players who needed to get that into their system. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe look, we can take an awful lot from that PSG game. There's an awful lot of good we can take out of it. There's a lot of people saying we should play the 4-2-2 today at home. I've gone with a different formation, right? So we're going to go through that in a minute, bud, and then we're going to. I found this article, right, and I put it up here on my thing. So what I'm going to do, I don't mean to be rude. I'm going to put you sort of. Hang on, where am I going?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
hang on. I will get there eventually. Sorry, I will get there. It's anyway. Sorry, I anyway.
Well, I need to just go.
Yeah, sorry, I get there. Anyway, I'll move you. That's it. I can move you now. So there we go. I can somehow put you. Hang on. I can put you down here. This is the glory version of live YouTube. It still hasn't moved. Fuck it. Anyway, I'll tell you what I can do. That would be a brainwave. There we go. I moved the other side. Now these are the points where we were off this time last season. And if you look at the Crystal Palace at top with they've got 12 more points than last season. Arsenal are up by 7. Everton are up by 7. Bournemouth are up by 4. Villa are up by 2. Manchester United are up by 2. Chelsea are up by 1. This is the ones that surprised me, Rain. Man City are down by 1. We're down by 1. So are Brentford. I think Brentford are down to 4, I think.
Yeah, by 1. Yes.
And Liverpool are down by 13. So Palace does that mean then Palace was have been the most improved team of this Premier League season, and Liverpool the most worst then? Because to be up 12 points to where they were this time last season, and with us, he's only 1 point off where we were under Ranch Postecoglou this time last season. So, am I being a little bit jumping the gun with like being disgruntled with Frank? But does that not prove my point? We haven't really taken this giant leap forward like we thought we would. We're sort of where we are. We're sort of where we are like we were last season, just down by 1 point. So, what do you make of that league table? Is there any teams that surprise you there, Rain? And then on Tottenham, what's your thoughts on that, Bud?
I think the fact that Palace lose their best player every season. They lost Lise the year before, or they lost Eze, this year. They held on to Guehi.
Yeah.
That's surprising. Moyes is doing a great job at Everton.
He is. He really is.
And they seem to have transitioned to that new stadium really, really well. Shouldn't Sunderland be at the top here?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because they had 0 points last season.
Yeah. They're doing very well. But look at even Manchester United, Rain, right? In the Europa League final as us. Even they're better than us. They've made a more of a incline than we have. I think I get all these Frank supporters, Rain. I really do, and he's our manager. We support him. But if we're just in the same, if we're slightly a little bit worse, or even 1 point worse than we were under Ranch, then where's the improvement been? Because by that stats table, there's been no improvement. We've actually gone backwards a little bit.
I guess the answer, Dermot, is that the Premier League season is 38 games long.
Yeah, that's true.
And our massive fall off came in January.
Yeah.
We weren't doing brilliantly at this point.
No.
But in January we fell off a cliff.
Yeah, we did. Just give us 2 minutes, Rain. I'm back. I'm just
no problem. Man City is surprising, I think, because we're all. I don't know. Are Man City having a bad? I don't know. I don't know if Man City are weird this season, because sometimes I watch them. I don't watch a lot of football other than Spurs. I'll be brutally honest. But sometimes I watch them and I think that these guys are clearly world beaters, but then they don't always get the results.
No.
So it's very weird. And you would have thought that West Ham. I would have thought West Ham would be doing worse, a lot worse, compared to how they were last season.
Yeah.
For it, and it just goes to show with Wolves. Wolves survived by the skin of their teeth last season, really.
Yeah, they did.
And Forest only 7 points down, considering how well they did. I get. Do you know what this is telling me? It's too early.
Yeah, it probably is telling it's too early. But I was just surprised by the Palace, how much Palace have to say. But we're to where we are compared to this time last season. Before the fall off, Rain, I think Tottenham really haven't moved forward much. Everyone thinks we've made this giant leap forward. By that stats board, we haven't. We haven't made a giant leap forward. We're about where we are. I don't think I've seen. Look, I'll work with a few people in chat. We're going to get on them with the predicted lineup. We're going to talk through that. We're going to go through player by player. I'm going to talk about the formation I've picked as well. And is it time to start with two up front? Does that suit Richie? And does that suit Morani? So, look, we're going to get into that, guys. Big up to Reno. Big up to Ryan. He says, what a great debate. Yeah, it was a good debate. I won by a mile. I'm sorry you lost. I know.
Whoa. The adjudicator judged it a draw, didn't he? I was there.
Yeah, but I bribed him more after the stream. I gave him more. I gave him a few more M&Ms. I gave him the special M&Ms. So I won, Rhino. You lost. No, it was a great stream. Joking aside, it was a great stream. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it again, Rhino. Later in the year, we'll pick that up probably in. We'll have to do it near the end of the season because I think that would give us a better look at what's happening with Thomas Frank. That's if he's here by April next year. Could be gone by Christmas, knowing our luck. If we lose today and then lose to Newcastle on Tuesday, I could be going to the Brentford game with the interim manager in charge. Big up to Brenny. I know he's shaking your head, right? Big up Brenny. Big up legends. Big up Brenny. You're an absolute legend yourself, bud. I hope you're doing well. And I do apologise. I was meant to go on to his Champions League podcast this week. I fell asleep. And I woke up late. Tom woke up, the stream had finished. So, Brenny, I do apologise, bud. Big up to DJ Samuel. Big up to DJ, the only man that can rarely have Bart Simpson looking cool on his YouTube picture. Look at him sitting there and having a special ciggy, getting ready for the Spurs game. He's just taken that to relax himself, get ready for Tottenham Hotspur. Big up to you, DJ. He says, hopefully we'll turn up tonight. Yeah, hopefully. And then we've got a couple of members, Stones. Big up to Just a Harmless Potato. I love that. The little UEFA Cup in the background. Been a member for 5 months. Well, firstly, thank you for your support. Thank you for your loyalty for 5 months. Really appreciate it, bud. It says, thank you for the gifted membership. Big up, Dermot and Rain. Big up to you, Just a Harmless Potato, 882. Big up to you. And also my old nemesis, the man that every victor has to have an enemy. He's my Ivan Drago to my Rocky. He's my Ayrton Senna to Alain Prost. He's Arsenal compared to my Tottenham. I'm not calling the Arsenal fan, by the way. But he says, thank you. Dermo, we will be winning today. Like I said yesterday, we just need to give him time. Well, you didn't give Ange time, did you? And you wanted him out pretty sharpish, and he won us a trophy. No, I get what you're saying. Look, we all want Tottenham to win today, Rhino. We all want them to win today. Of course we do. All we want is Tottenham to be successful. And as I keep saying, I want Thomas Frank to prove me wrong. And I'm disgruntled and I want them to prove me wrong. But if we lose today, Rhino, we got a very difficult away game on Tuesday away to Newcastle, where normally we don't do well. Then Brentford, as I said yesterday, Brentford becomes an even bigger game. It becomes a massive game. Yeah, a win today, I think the noise calms down around them. I do think that. A win today and a result on Tuesday, I think the noise goes away. Don't win today and we lose. If we lose today and lose bad against Newcastle on Tuesday, then I think the noise is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. I hope it doesn't, because I think, if I'm right, Brain, we need a bit of stability, don't we? I mean, I know Andrew was in for 2 years, but we do need now a bit of stability. But with Thomas Frank, you have to be consistent yourself as well, don't you? You have to keep showing you're improving the squad. Do you agree with that? That a win today and the result Tuesday, the noise goes away. Is today vital? Today is very vital, isn't it, for him?
I think. Does the noise go away? I don't know. I'm clear. I don't think there really should be any noise. I personally, I get why there's noise, but that's. I don't personally. I still remember back to after, AVB, that period in the early 2010s, which was similarly chaotic.
Yeah.
With Harry and AVB and Sherwood, and then we got this, this relative unknown. He barely registered on my consciousness.
The Messiah.
Yeah, but at the time that we appointed him, I didn't really know who he was. He'd managed Southampton, and okay, but he hadn't really. And I remember I was over at a mate's, and it was announced that he was appointed. A mate who's a big Spurs fan, and we were asking the question, what do we want? What does he need to do? And I said the same thing. I've been, it's just the way that I think. I said the one thing that's got to happen is we've just got to give him like 2 or 3 years to sort this stuff out. And I still think that. I still think that Frank. I think that Frank is going to make lots of mistakes. That's the way that I think.
Yeah.
The only the only thing you can do is learn from them. So will he learn the differences between Arsenal and PSG? Don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because I tell you why it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for one reason, because you and me both remember, Rain, the chaotic scenes we had at the end of the 80s under Terry Venables and the club nearly going out of existence, and us thinking, will we have a football club to support? And then we've always been chaotic one way or the other. Tottenham's never been a team of stability. I think we had that in the 60s. I think we had that in the 70s.
Yeah, not in our lifetime. Yeah,
not in our lifetime. And I think we had that in the early 80s when you and me were both young Spurs fans, just getting to grips of what it means to be a Spurs supporter. And I think from then, from the time we had Ivan Scholar and the club nearly gone out of existence, to Alan Sugar taken over, Daniel Levy taken over, and Enoch, we've never really been stable. It's been one disaster after another, after another, after another. Alan Sugar was quite good at sacking managers as well, by the way. So he was very, I know he gave Jerry Francis 4 years, didn't he?
Yeah.
4 years. Then he gave George Graham a few years, who won us a trophy. But in the background, there was always noise around Tottenham. There was always noise around the chaotic side of the Spurs. You had Teddy Sheringham arguing with Sugar. You had the year we had Klinsmann, and then broken promises, and Klinsmann buggering up, and then bringing Klinsmann back to save us from relegation. It's we just want a bit of normal. Big up to Rhino, by the way, 4 months. Big up. Really appreciate your support, Bob. But do you know what I mean? We just want a bit of normal, and we need to see the club moving forward. This is why I think January is now going to become so important for Enoch, for Thomas Frank too. If Thomas Frank's the man, then they're going to have to back him in January, and then back him in the summer. If he isn't the man, then why bring him in the first place?
I mean, part of the problem. I was trying to remember, because there was so many things going on in like the 90s, the noughties. There was that, and I remember, there was that points deduction.
Yeah.
As well.
And from the FA Cup.
Yeah. And it was, and it was 12 points. I was trying to rack my brains and just gone and had a quick look. And I remember that we got punished, and then we got it reduced, down to 6 points. It was chaotic. Even the Sugar takeover.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I've got a lot of gripes with Levy, but under Enoch, the ownership's been relatively stable.
It's the manager's side.
Apart from the knives out over the summer, where they clearly got rid of him. And it's just transferred to the managers. Do they need to back him? I think a big concern that I've got is that I think they brought Frank in I think Frank was brought in, let's put it that way, to develop these players. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face, because I'm an old man and I've seen it and done it. I've had teams of younger people, and the harsh reality is the one consistent thing you get from younger people is inconsistency.
Yeah.
As you get older, you get more consistent. Because
you get more experience, don't you?
And you're less able to change as well.
Yeah, that's true. Not like me. Like you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go for a pee. When you're younger, you didn't have to do that. Like I wake up now and I'm thinking, Jesus, my leg's gonna fall off because I'm in that pain. I mean, yeah, it getting old isn't fun. I'm telling you that now. It's no fun. Stay young, guys. Stay young. Look, I want Tom. Look, I I get it under Enoch. We've been stable on the ownership, but just very quickly, I know this turned into a sort of team talk, but if you look at the teams under Alan Sugar and the players he brought in, Alan Sugar for me deserves more credit than what he gets. Now,
Mm,
I'm just thinking an Alan Sugar with Thomas Frank as if Alan Sugar was owner now with Thomas Frank, I think Alan Sugar would have come out very quickly and said, right, forget all the noise. He's my man. I'm backing him. And he would have backed him one way or the other. I think Enoch or Tottenham should have put out a statement and said, look, Thomas Frank is our manager. We back him. He's going to be back. I think there should be some statement put out that A, supports the manager, B, makes the fans understand, okay, he's going to be our guy. He's going to be backed, and we have to get around him. And C, try to generate that unity we had on the Poch, that unity where everyone was going in the same direction. Everyone was pulling the right way. And I think Enoch should have put out something by now to back Thomas Frank. In my view. I don't we think Rain, but I think they should have done by now.
I think we had all of that, we had all of those communications over the summer from Vinay.
Yeah.
It's just completely dried up. I don't know whether that's the way it's going to be. It's just going to be the last one we had was what Lang was Paratici coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way it's going to be. It's just going to be, at Windows or just in the summer. And arguably, maybe that is the way that it, really that's the way that it should be. Kind of, it shouldn't have, the owners constantly coming out and talking. And I don't know. I mean, it's called, I don't know, Gemma. I think it's called the dreaded vote of confidence for a good reason, and that's
It is.
because if that type of noise reaches the board
Mm.
and gets onto their agenda, then Frank's doomed.
Yeah,
Basically,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think Frank dealt with it quite well in his press conference. All he's got to do is just start. He's just got to get this team
going.
booming.
Yeah. Now, this is the lineup that we think should start today. I have got your lineup as well, Ryan. I will quickly bring that up as well. But this is the fully lineup. I'm going to go through the team first, guys, and then we're going to go through the formation and the players. I've started with the Vicario on goal. I've gone with the back four of your doggy, Danso, Van der Ven, and Porro. The reason Danso's in because Romero's suspended. I've gone with one number six in Palhinha, just in front of the back four. I've gone with a midfield tree of Odebear, Simmons, and Kudos, and a front two of Morani and Richie. Rain, look, I hummed and hard about the back four. I hummed and hard about who would I pick. Now we know Danso will come in for Romero. Romero suspended. Also, with Jeff Spence, I decided to drop him and bring your doggy into the left, and to start Romero and Porro on the right, and Palhinha sitting in front of the back four. Just start with that bit first. Do you think that's the way it will go, or would you have picked any different?
I mean, I certainly would pick a different side. I love this. I love this lineup. I wouldn't be averse to this lineup in any way, shape, or form. This lineup is almost like 5-0-5 kind of formation. I love it.
I found my inner Aussie idealist. That's what I've done. I found my inner Aussie.
And why? And do you know what? Why not? The only concern I'd have with this is how are we linking between defence, and Palhinha is very defensive, and midfield, and the
We see. I could move Palunia to a centre midfielder, not have him as a 6, but move him to a centre midfielder. So there's that link between the two. I also think that look, you could move that. You could actually move it to a. I didn't want to go with a 4-2-2-2 because I felt in the Premier League you would get found out pretty quickly with that formation. Now that could it also could turn out to a, you could drop you could put Palunia and then put Bentancur in as a double pivot. You could put Simon and Kudus as the 10s and then drop Odegaard, and then you got your 2 up front. I think it's vital we play 2 up front today because I think Fulham are there to be got out. So we have to be more daring. I mean, Thomas Frank has said, and I have got it here, Frank wants to Tottenham to adopt front-footed approach, even if it ends in defeat. But isn't that what we had with Ange? This more attacking. But for me, do you think this is more grown-up Ange ball instead of the Ange ball we had last season?
I quite like that. I quite like the grown-up Ange ball description. Quite like that, mate. I think that's what we want.
It is.
You know, you and I had this debate, didn't we? We had this discussion. Oh, no, you asked the question. What is? No, somebody else asked the question. Asked you the question. What is the Tottenham way? They said, you know, they were not as, you know, they were not as sort of they were not with the as much of the history the history as we are. And they said, you know, what is the Tottenham? I don't know what Tottenham way is. And I went and I said, it's push and run. And you went, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that is kind of what we want. And that is what we've always had. This team works if they push up. If they push up and they don't sit inside the penalty area. If Danzo and Van de Ven are operating more in the middle of our half and not, you know, in our penalty area, then this formation works because it then gets squeezed. And that's what good teams do. You see the Liverpools, you know, the Manchester Uniteds where under Fergie, you see Pep's teams. What they do is they squeeze the play so that all of their players are closer together and can back each other up. And that's what we need to do, and that's what Frank needs to get them doing. And that's how this would work, is if they worked more as a team. Grown up handball, I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, you look at Simmons, then what does he need to do today? Because look, the best we've seen of Simmons, right, has been on the left-hand side. I think we've got more out of him on the left end than we have as a 10. But people want him played as a 10, so we're going to have to persist there because we haven't got a player at 10. We could play Kudus there as well, by the way. But I don't think he's as good as a 10. I think he's better on the wings. But how would you try to get the best out of Xavi? Because tonight's a game where he could shine tonight. He could show. This game could be the game that announces Xavi to the Premier League. So if you're Thomas Frank, what is your words of advice to Xavi tonight?
I'm a big fan that when you buy players, they should already know how to play. I can put it that way.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, the coach's job or manager's job, you know, in any walk of life, not even just football, is to understand the people who you're responsible for, and to put them in the right conditions to get the best out of them. So it's not to tell Xavi, I want you to do this or I want you to do that. It's to understand. And Frank's been quite clear. Frank has been quite clear about it. He said if because he was asked, should Simmons play left wing or centre, and he said and he basically said what I've been saying. Funny enough, he said if he starts left, he drifts in. If he starts at 10, he drifts out. Basically, Simmons wants to play inside left. If you saw him play for RB Leipzig. That's
Yeah.
where he played. That's where he always operates. That's the hole that he likes to find is inside left. So just left of where you've got him here. That's where he'll even if he may not sort of just be there constantly, but if he gets the ball, that's where it kind of quite often
Yeah.
drifts to. So it's about the players around him understanding that that's what he wants to do. It's like with Kudus. Kudus, or no, a better example. It's like with Kulusevski. You know we all know what Kulusevski is going to do if he's got that ball on the right hand side. He's going to cut back onto his left foot and he's going to try and go across the penalty area. And he does that consistently because that's his way of playing. It's like Van der Ven, if he's got space in front of him, what's Van der Ven going to do? He's got the ball and he's got some space in front of him. He's going to drive into that space. That's what he does. And it's these are grown men who have developed their way of playing. So I would be mindful that Simmons is going to be. Simmons is not a left winger. If you play him left wing, he's just gonna come inside. No. So actually, that's why I love this, because when you've got two players up front, like you've got here, what you want is two wingers. You want two wingers like Odegaard and Kudus, who are going to put the ball across into the penalty area. And I presume that's what you envisage. Odegaard, who certainly does that, and Kudus, who certainly does that, doing in this team.
I do, because you look at Wednesday, our first goal. We got a crossing from Archie Gray. Morini then heads it back, and the thing is with Morini, he's got such vision around him. He just sits there. He hasn't just got the vision for goal. He's got the vision, right? If I can't score, who else am I going to put in? We saw that against Copenhagen with Odegaard's goal. We saw it on Wednesday with Richie's goal. He's got such an ability as a striker, and it's very rare you get these in strikers. Probably Harry Kane's another one. I'm not saying Morani's Harry Kane level, but Harry Kane, few strikers have this footballing brain to look at multiple areas. Right, am I going to score? If not, who am I going to set up? And you've got a split second to make that decision. And he has the ability, Morani, to slow the game down to a millisecond to think, right, okay, I'm doing that, but I'm going to do that. And that's really rare in footballers these days. If you look at Richie's all about, I'm getting a chance, I'm going for goal. He's not looking at the bigger picture, where Morani does. And I feel Morani and Richie sort of complement each other. You've got the space and the ability and the skill of Morani, who has got skill. He's a very talented player. And you've got Richie's sort of rawness of, I'm going to be your number 9. I'm going to be the one in there to score your goals. So I think they could link up. A partnership could start here. And I think if we get a partnership up front, I think then the rest sorts itself out, in my opinion. And you're right, Odegaard and Kudus, get them crosses in.
Yeah.
Get them crosses in, because we saw what Richie can do. We know the goals he can score, and we know Morani is a fox in the box. He will get in that box and he will knock them in. So it's all about creating chances for our strikers. So that's the sort of that's why I went for this lineup, because I thought it's different. We're attacking, and also it sort of blends to the Tottenham DNA of push and run. So that was my sort of way. That was my thinking behind it, to be honest.
Do you know what? Against PSG, do you know what I really, really enjoyed? This is gonna date me. It's gonna date me. The amount of times that we lined up and it just looked like we were just playing 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And I look at this, and this is essentially 4-4-2 with Paulinho as a defensive midfielder and Simmons sort of sitting in front of him as an attacking midfielder, and your two wingers. It's in old money you would have had two box to box centre mids. But this is basically a 4-4-2 with a diamond, and I do think that I think there's a good argument for this being. It sounds a bit. Well, no. Do you know what, Dermot? We've been talking about the fact that we've been going back to the 80s with set piece football.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time we had a bit of an 80s revival with. They say that everything's circular, everything comes back
Yeah.
around. Maybe it's time for 4-4-2 to make a comeback.
Maybe it is. I wouldn't mind it. But look, guys, you're not going to get one predicted lineup. We're not like this on this channel. We want to be different. We are different from everyone. We are your rock and roll channel. If you love Formula One, we're a bit like Red Bull. We're different from. We're not like a boring Ferrari or boring McLaren, all stiffs and upper collars and stiff upper lip lads. And we're Red Bull. We're the party channel. We're the rebellious channel. So we're not going to be like every other channel, giving you one predicted lineup. Hell no, we're giving you two. So that's how we roll here. So this is Rain's predicted lineup. He's gone with the Vicario in goal. He's gone with the same back four as me. He's gone with a different lineup. He's gone for a 4-3-1-2. So he's gone with Gray, Palunia, and Kudos in that midfield three. Simmons as a 10. And of course, he's like me. He's gone with two up front. Rain, I can see what you're doing. It looks lovely. It looks like a Christmas tree on acid. So that looks brilliant. I don't know where you would put the presents, but do you know what I mean? We will find a spot for it. I tell you what, if you had the Charlton and Morani and swapped the positions, that would be the Christmas tree formation, which was a formation people did play back in the 80s and 90s. But explain your midfield, bud. I get Graham Palunia. Why are you putting Kudos then on that midfield three? What's your...
I actually don't think this is a million miles away from what you've got, Dermot. Against PSG, Gray was getting down that left-hand side. He was linking up with Bergvall quite well on that left-hand side in a really advanced area. Now, admittedly, here, I see him as providing a little bit more defensive cover, but again, in the way that classic 4-4-2 used, the midfielders, wide midfielders did have responsibilities. Obviously, I originally, when I did this, I had Gray, Palhinha, and Bergvall, and then I looked at it and I said, "Oh God, if I'm going to do an ideal team, you've got to get Kudus in there. I know that he's been a bit in and out, but you've got to get him in there somehow." So I put him on that right hand side, and obviously, going back to what I said, you let the players play the way that they want to play. I'm expecting Kudus to get forwards. I'm expecting Kudus to pick the ball up and do his runs. Run with that ball, link up with Xavi, and get a cross in for Moani and Richarlison. Maybe Gray isn't getting crosses in, but he's certainly I would look for him to get forward and to make passes. So I don't think this is a million miles away from your formation. I would not be averse. I would not be averse to this, but sort of Gray is replaced by Odobert, and basically, this is basically yours, but I haven't pushed them up as much. So
basically, you like mine better, and you're just trying to convince me that yours is better, but you prefer mine. I get it. I'm a genius. I know I'm a genius. I get it. I'm a football genius. I get it. Now I get. Look, fair enough. I get your lineup. I like it. I think it gives, as you say, it gives that bit of passing ability from the defense in the midfield to the 10 to the forwards, and then if you did put a Odobert instead of Gray, and even have that 4-3-1-2, you would still have them bombing down the wings. But in the defense, when Fulham got the ball, they just drop back into a tree. So you're getting that defensive cover, but also in attack, you're getting them pushing forward. Again, you've went with me at two up front. I think you're right. I think with all the old school football we're seeing at the moment, set pieces, long throws coming back into it. The Premier League this year has been more like watching 1990s football than what we have been watching. Do you think football in itself is... Yeah, big up, Wayne. I wasn't going to read out any of these comments because I think that some of them are quite not fair. Do you think football is evolving now again? to. Do you remember back in the day though, Rain? Right, Italian football was so boring, and then we had and then suddenly Italian football got exciting. I don't know how it did. Probably too much bribery going on.
I mean, I used to love watching Italian football in the in the 80s with what was his name, Richardson. I can't remember. Boring. Yeah, I mean, I know that I asked that question: is the Premier League boring? I think that you're always looking for a new angle. You're always looking to combat what's currently there. And the reason why I love the idea of two up front and potentially even 4-4-2 is not just because I'm a dinosaur and I want us to go back to having shell suits and neon stuff and yo-yos and all the other stuff that we did in the 80s and good bands which we had in the 90s. It's that I think that there's a generation of defenders who've grown up without who haven't been playing against two up front, who haven't been playing against wingers who don't invert, who go round the outside and then cross the ball in. And when you're looking to counter the status quo, then you look for the abnormal, and the abnormal right now is wingers who go around the outside and cross the ball in, who don't cut inside and try and take shots. They all invert, and playing two up top. Having each centre back has their own striker rather than one striker in between them. So that's why I love this so much. And I think it clearly caused PSG problems. And I really don't see why it wouldn't cause other teams problems.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I like the idea of two up front. I've always have done. I think the time of one striker up front has actually come to an end. I think this football we're playing at the moment of one up front and 4-2-3-1, and I think it can become very defensive football. I think people do use it as defensive football because you are playing with six defenders, basically. I just want us to play attractive football on the front ball. I think on Ange, it was a bit one way too much. I think all we've ever asked for is balance. Balance. That's what we want. A team that defends well but attacks well as well. And I think the first team to get that formation and that tactic spot on, I think it's the team that might win the league either next season or the season after. Because I feel this season is just the Premier League as a whole is gifting Arsenal the league, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to see where the challenge to Arsenal sort of juggernauting it is gonna come from, because they're just quite relentless at the moment. We lost 4-1 to them, and then they turned around and smashed Bayern 3-1. So it's and there was rightly and understandably a lot of upset over both our performance and the scoreline. But that does kind of indicate where they are right now. They're becoming quite relentless, and they showed us up. And again, I would say against Chelsea as well. I was there again, and I've used the term that Chelsea monstered us.
They did.
Caicedo and Enzo are absolute monsters. They are so good. And that's not to say that we should allow that. That's not to say that, as a team, we should be, it's okay, they just monstered us. No. But we should be looking to be able to counter that and get to that, not let that happen. Unfortunately, we're not there right now, and we're not playing to our strengths. I agree. We need to get forwards. We need to get Xavi in the game. We need to get players. We need to get Kudus and Xavi linking up. The Mawani and Richarlison actually linking up was a breath of fresh air.
It was. And look, I know, big up to everyone in the chat. Want to welcome a few people in. Big up to White. Carly said, sick and tired of these so-called Spurs fans. Carl's going straight for the jugular. Big up to you, Carl. All those digging out players who play for the club they're supposed to support. Pathetic. Just back them. I agree with that 100%. I know we had somebody in the chat digging out Tell and being quite ridiculous about his opinions. Why his opinions were, I won't name the person, but I'm going to read out why he doesn't like Tell. It was a case of he came on for the Super Cup and jogged around and cost us a trophy. I mean, that's just so. Big up to the mods dealing with that. Big up to your mods. We've got David Clark, me old nemesis. How you doing, Mr. Clark in Leicester? Said I would play two up front, Kudus and Morani. Oh, that's interesting. Simmons in the 10, 3 behind Xavi with Sarr, Bergvall and Palunia. The DM at the back, I would play Porro, Danso, Van der Ven, Udogie, and Vakari and go. That for me would be exciting. I think the three people in midfield, I think that's interesting. So what you're playing there, David, you're going for a 4-3-1-2. Am I right in that formation?
I mean, he's lining up 4-3-1-2. I've actually, in some of our WhatsApps, I've basically done this team.
You have,
basically done exactly the same. But I think, David, what you'd find, because of who he is, I think Kudus would naturally start dropping back to pick up the ball. And what you'd end up with, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. You'd end up with 4-3-2-1 with Kudus and Xavi effectively both playing as number 10s behind Mawani, and hopefully getting up, as you put it, to up front. Hopefully getting up to support Mawani. I think absolutely, I agree. I think getting fullbacks back when under Poch. What people forget under Poch is how important the defensive midfielder was. Everybody focuses on Eriksen, Kane, Dele, but everybody forgets Wanyama, Dyer, when he played at defensive midfield, how important they were to allow Walker, Rose to get up because the defensive midfielder would provide some cover for them getting forwards. So everybody remembers, us marauding forwards, but Poch did it with balance.
I know he did, and that's what we want from Frank. Balance. Are you going to the game today, bud?
I am. I'm gonna head off. Let's see, what is it? 8 o'clock. So it takes me. Do you want to?
Yeah. How long does it take you get from your place to the ground?
So I go and get the train. I drive and then get the train. The train comes every half an hour. Takes about 15 minutes. So I leave. So I make sure there's an hour spare, just in case, because that's 45 minutes if I miss a train. And it takes me an hour to drive to the train station. So I will be leaving. So 8, 7, 6. I'll be leaving around 5, half 5. I'll be getting in the car around 5, half 5, somewhere between there to head off. To go an hour around the M25, and then join many other Spurs. It's all Spurs fans at the train station.
I can see you at the train station starting off. Come on, you Spurs all in the. I can see you starting the party. I really can.
I sit there and read my book, and quite often I've got my AirPods on, and I'm listening to you or somebody else doing a pump up.
Listen, Tequila is right. I may live in Ireland, and Ireland's the greatest country in the world. I don't like the comment what you just said, John. I don't know where you live, mate, but I think it's a little bit not fair. I mean, most people that watch this channel are from the UK, and we've never had any problems. Most of the people we have, England, Ireland, and Australia, believe it or not, USA, sorry, are a top 3 destinations for this channel. But yeah, big up to Tequila. I hope you're right, bud, and I hope you're resting well. Yeah, we are going to finish up. So what we're going to do is this, and what we're going to do. Oh, here was David. David said, "Oh, team talk should be earn your paycheck, you lazy bums." Is what? Yeah, big up Tequila. Big up to you, bud. Get him in the changing rooms. Get Tequila in the changing rooms. We should start a hashtag. Wayne says we only need one CDM. Focus on attack, or we get embarrassed again. Exactly. We need to go for it today. Nothing defensive, just attack, full throttle. Yeah, go on the highway to hell. That's what we need. A bit of thunderstruck. I've always said it. They should play thunderstruck before the players come out. Right? They should do that before the players come out. Play thunderstruck, because in the middle, do you know when it says thunder? Right? And I have done this. I've played the song, and I've said Tottenham. Now, if you listen to it and say Tottenham in your head,
I can do it. Yeah.
Your brain will automatically. See, they should do that before the
I must admit, I'm quite. I've got quite a soft spot for Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
A bit of an old metal and rock head myself. I get what David's saying, but the harsh reality is you can't dictate what human beings do. Human beings, and you don't pay, in my mind, you don't pay people 120 grand a week for them not to have some kind of agency about what they do. And the last thing is that's how you get sort of stagnancy. You need players to have some kind of footballing intelligence to understand that sometimes they need to do something a little bit different. But I get it. Go up. I would put it a slightly different way, David. I would say, in my mind, and I know this is not what you're saying, Kudos would be given a full license to go forward and get in that box. Be told you get in that box. If you want to come back and do your little dribbles, fine, but you need to get in that box.
I totally agree. Look, we're going to go through a few stats and what you can see. I know I did it yesterday, but many people didn't. Probably weren't around. If you're on the rated the game, we're going to give you all the latest. These are the stats for today's game against Fulham. Spurs have only won two of their last 10 games in all competition. Home points, we have the lowest individual rankings in the Premier League, but away from home, we have the highest individual rankings. Spurs have only won 1 of the last games in the Premier League. Spurs have just won 4 home league games in the 2025 year period. That was 3 under Ange Postecoglou and Thomas Frank's opening home game against Burnley when we beat them 3-1. But Tottenham have scored in 10 of their last 12 league matches played this season. We've got people out. Of course, Manderson's out with his knee. Kulu's out with his knee. Bissouma's out with a knock. Solanke's out with his ankle. Romera's suspended. Ben Davis, Tataki all back in training. Also, Ben Davis was in the matchday squad for the PSG game. So expect him to be in the matchday squad again today, maybe on the subs bench. This is our record against Fulham over 36 games, drawn 8. Tottenham have total wins of 19, 11 home, 8 away. Fulham 9 in total, 7 at home and 2 away. Our league positions, because we're 9th at the moment, 5 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats, scored 20 goals. Fulham have had 5 in 15th with 4 wins, 2 draws, 6 defeats and 13 goals. Fulham have not won away all season. Dr. Tottenham, fuck off and leave us alone. Form guides. Tottenham here, not great. Of course, we did have that 4-1 defeat to Arsenal last game, but Spurs have only won 1 of the last 5 in the Premier League. That was away to Everton. We have conceded 9 goals in our last 11 goals in our last 3 games as well in all competitions and only scored 5. So it's very worrying indeed. Fulham, look, did win the last time out against Sunderland, also beat Wolves, but I think everyone is beating Wolves as well, but only 2 win after the last 5 for Fulham. Last 5 games, Spurs have had 2 wins out of the last 5. That was, of course, on the 23rd of March, 2023. And then, of course, we did beat them. We did the double over them in the 22-23 season, but we haven't beaten them since. They beat us 3-0 in 2024. They beat us 1-1 then in December of last year, and then we lost to them in March. And then that came at the time when Ange Postecoglou was arguing amongst the fans as well at the away end. The referee, it is, where he had to be pulled back, didn't he, round the corner like. It was getting toxic then. Stuart Atwell.
Wasn't that the EA Cup game as well?
No, he did that at Chelsea.
No, that's Chelsea. That was it. Yeah, that's right.
Stuart Atwell is your referee. The 2 assistant referees are Constantine Hazardrix. Sounds like somebody out of Harry Potter. Nicholas Opton, he sounds posh, but he went to Eton. We've got Michael Salisbury and Andy Madley. We're definitely going to win today. If Andy Madley's on VAR, then we haven't got a hope in fucking hell. Then if you do want to watch the game, but you want to watch the game, but turn the sound down and leave the driving to me. In UK and Ireland on Sky Sports main event. USA is on Paramount Plus. In Australia, it's on Stan Sport. In Canada, it's on DAZN Canada and Fubu TV. And in Qatar, yes, we're being shameless here. We want the Qatari prince to give us sponsorship. We want to be THFC Do or Die, sponsored by Qatari Airways. So if there is some prince out there that's, bored, and he's got a few billion to spare, we'd be shameless. We'll take
don't buy Tottenham Hotspur. Just come and sponsor the main channel.
Yeah, come and sponsor that. Let's become Tottenham's main channel, right? Just behind We Are Spurs Tottenham TV. Yeah, we're not shameless. I'm sure Tequila will like to. I'm sure he'll like that. Tequila goes, yes, they should sponsor us. I'm willing to sell most things for the right price. Oh, how quickly can this show go downhill? Big up to you, Tequila. Oh, yeah, but they're the games where you can watch the match today, guys. And also, I was going to do Thomas Frank's press conference, but I ran out of time. But, guys, that is it. David Clark says, Man City are 2-0 up in Leeds, and Sunderland are 2-1 down to Bournemouth. So the 3 o'clock game's kicking off already. Rain, where can people find you, bud? And what's your score prediction for today?
So here, other fan channels in chat is where people can find me. I am on X as well, but I keep quite a low profile. I only reply. I don't really post. My scoreline, I think we're going to beat them 3-0. And just to be clear, PSG, my prediction was that we were going to lose 4-2. We lost 5-3. So I think I was pretty close. I think we're going to beat them 3-0 today. I think we're going to do them.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going for a 3-1 win for me today. I think we really are going to put them to the sword. They haven't won away all season, so I don't think that is going to end anytime soon. Guys, I am on Dave's at 5 today for the match day build up. I'm with him today, and then I'm on here from 7:30 with the watch along, and then 10:15 or 10:10 then with match reaction. So we've got you covered for the game today. Guys, thank you for watching. We've gone up a few more subscribers, which is great. It's always nice to see. But guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you can. And we'll see you back here at 7:30 for Tottenham versus Fulham watch along. Come on, you Spurs. And
have a great afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. And as Tequila always says, it's just who we are, mate. I don't do it as good as Tequila, but
I'm not even going to try.
I'm not going to try. But anyway, see you later. Bye.
With the pride of the fight on this journey.